smiling in your face, really.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Mic, and we're here with Vero G, aka Veronica Gonzalez. So, hi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So, I know you for years, and we're gonna have a little fun talking, and then get to know who you are.
Yes.
But I'd love to open up with, where were you born at? Where, like, what state, what country, where?
Yeah, a lot of people think I'm Chinese, Mexican. I get everything you can think of.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm not that, but I like the foods though.
Hey, listen.
Yeah,
sure.
I ain't liking it. I'm originally from here, United States. To be more specific, more like Lower East Side, East Village.
Okay, Manhattan.
Yeah, everybody just. I'm a mixed race. I'm a mix of everything. I'm, of course, Latina, Puerto Rican, right. And then I did some ancestry work. I found out I'm part Jewish and Irish and everything you could think of. And I'm like, whoa. So I'm kind of embracing that.
Everybody, if you do that ancestor thing, you're mixed with everybody.
Yeah,
right now, nobody's pure.
Yeah, of course not.
So I just be like, listen, just go with what your mother and your father is.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, because I think if I do it, I'm like everywhere.
No, you're good.
I'm telling you. No, but that's good. You're born here, raised here.
Yes.
Is mother and father Puerto Rican or?
Yes, both.
Okay, so pure Latina.
You already know.
Okay, I like that. How many brothers and sisters are you?
Oh my. Okay, so my mom's side, two brothers, and my father's side, two brothers and a sister from that point.
Okay. So there's 6 of you guys?
Oh, all together, but my sister passed away, and my brothers, they're kind of their own world. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's always like that.
Yeah. Just like that.
Family go together.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming since you said both sides, you were born, raised from separate families, right?
Yeah. Well, how it went about pretty much is that my dad was married prior to him getting with my mom years ago.
Oh, okay,
Many years ago, and he got with her when she was like after 18 or so, and they fell in love, and then they had me, and I popped out.
Oh, wow.
They got her, I'm like, I'm here, so, and my mother later on, she got with my stepdad after that relationship with my dad, and produced 2 other kids, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a long story.
So you're the oldest?
Yeah, and in between, somewhat you could say.
Okay.
My father's, my mother's side oldest, and my father's side the baby.
The baby?
Yeah, so I'm like the middle child. I get the third treatment,
Oh, wow. That's cool. I know you had family. I didn't know you had 6.
Yeah.
I'm 5 and you're the 6.
Yeah.
That's good, though. But, growing up, especially in Manhattan, growing up in the 80s, 90s and all that, I hear a lot of different stories.
Yes.
I hear the Bronx side of the story, but what about the Manhattan side of the story? Wait, you said, so that's like towards High Bridge area?
No, that's, okay, Lower East Side is more
Lower East Side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
it's
okay.
by like, after, it's hard to explain it, it's like by after the city. It's like by after 14th Street further down. Like, right Canal.
Oh, yeah, you were in the bougie area.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm in the hood right now.
You in the bougie, 14th Street, you in the bougie area.
Shit, let me know, I'm sorry, let me know.
Yeah. No. But, we never, we went to 14th Street when we were young, but it was always, like once in a while because at that time, everything was just building and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
big time.
It was good. But when you were growing up, were you like a solo person or, because you said how your brothers were like distance and everything, so.
Yeah, I, growing up, I was first only child, my mom, my dad. My brothers, my brother and my sister from my father's side, they were way older than me, so they kind of had their own life set already and everything else. They were kind of time to visit and that, but they had their own kind of like life situation. Prior to that, I was just always more like a homebound. My mom, my dad, that's all I knew pretty much, and just going about life and figuring things out with them. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's not bad, Being the only child for a while, that's...
Yeah, you kind of get everything when you can.
Right.
Some limitations.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because, I figured, you grew up. How old were you when your brothers came in?
When my father's side,
yeah.
They came in, I was like after, I think 7, 8 around there. So they came like maybe when I was younger, but I don't remember recalling that. But later on, they were more in the picture. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
That's nice. Yeah, because, you know, you're a female and then you got all brothers around you.
Yeah.
You know, how did that play a part in your life?
It was great because, like, I always see my dad all the time. So it was like I had that male figure, but then to see my brothers come in and, like, you know, they'll kind of baby me and they're like, you know, pick me up. You know, they
overprotective?
Yeah, very much so. And they were like, yeah, come here, you know, and give me, like, you know, toys. And they just see me and visit was pretty cool.
Wow. Yes. You know, coming from a big family myself, it's like, you go your way. I didn't want to be next to you. You know what I'm saying? I guess when you're with a big family, people think it's nice, but at the same time, it's hard to find your own identity.
It is.
Because you have so many, you know, and then if you're the youngest, everybody expects you to be like the oldest, you know, the oldest ones. They doing this. Why you're not doing the same thing?
Exactly. It's the whole shebang.
And you're always the little brother. You know,
oh, my
hey,
God.
you know, I used to hear that a lot. Oh, George, little brother. And I still hear it. I still hear it at this time. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm 25 2 times, and you know, and I keep hearing little brother like, well, hello.
Like I kind of like got out of that situation, you know.
Yeah. So you know, but that's why I said I understand, especially with a sister.
Yeah.
You know, like you be overprotective with the sisters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. And you grew up in school in Manhattan, or did you go to public school in like any other places?
Pretty much public school all my life. You know, any schools around the neighborhood, I was mostly taking, you know, public school and then junior high school. And high school, I transitioned because I actually moved I was in Brooklyn for a little bit, and then I was transitioning to the Bronx with my mom and dad, and then at that time my father passed away. So it was, you know, it was like a lot of things happening during that time, but I was able to, you know, finish school and that sort of thing.
So y'all moved to the Bronx when he passed away, or while he was? He
was still alive at that time because she was just getting home place and everything, and then around like I think 2 years after she got her apartment, that's when he had passed away.
Wow. Yeah. So how that impacted you as, you know, because now, how old were you when it happened?
I was around like 18.
So you were just touching adulthood type of thing.
Yeah, I was just going like transition from, you know, not college, still in high school and everything else. Right. So it was just like finishing 9th grade towards that time frame, and then sorry, not 9th grade. That's 15 years old. My God, I'm throwing me. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like super senior. I was like towards like 18th, 10th to 11th around the time frame around there.
Right.
And because I was like 1 year behind, so just finishing trying to get my college, you know, school, going towards college and everything, right. And to find out, you know, the person that you were very close to passed away, right. It really had impacted my life a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, and I know when it happened to me, I slowed some stuff down. How did it impact you? Mm-hmm. Like, you wasn't even touching music. Was you touching music at that time, or
music? It actually, I'll do the backtrack on that. At the age of 7 years old, okay. They always say you have a calling, and that was my calling. I was 7. You know, back in the days, people don't know we had the boombox, we had the cassette. You know, that's how we did back in the days. You know?
like I always said, you know, and especially if you have a talent, they'll come and tell you to do the talent in front of your family.
Oh my God!
No matter what it is.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you know, but so. You're young and you're loving music. How did that, you know, with your father passing away, how did that impact your music in a sense?
Yeah, definitely. So during that time while I was trying to figure myself out, you know, the music and poetry and the combination of that, and then when he passed away, it really impacted me a lot because it was like a piece of me had gone. So now it's like the love of music had actually went away because it was like he always loved when I, you know, dance with him or, you know, sing in front of him. He'd be like applauding and supporting. And, you know, for a quick example, I was in my junior high school 22, the choir years ago. And
junior high school 22?
Yeah.
In the Bronx?
No, in Manhattan.
Oh, because I was in junior.
No, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. No, because I was going to say, oh my God, we were in the same school.
No.
Oh, okay.
Manhattan.
In Manhattan, okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
No, but so I was there for a while, and then we actually got my first award there. We had it was first place prize, and it was a big trophy. And I went home and I went to my dad, and he was just crying. He was like, "Mija, you know, he's so proud." And that was a moment, even to this day, talking about it, it's just reminiscing of that part. And that was something that, you know, he was so proud to see that his daughter wanted to do something in life and to make herself happy and him happy. So, you know, when he passed away, it really affected me musically, and, you know, I took a break from it, you know.
Oh, yeah, I could assume, you know, especially with something like that, how do you go back to it, it's going to be just kind of hard. I want to talk about how we can, how you bounce back.
Yes.
Right when we come right back from this commercial break. All right, so we came back to Behind the Mic with Veronica Gonzalez.
Thank you.
But during the commercial break, we were talking about how your music got impacted by your dad's sudden death.
Yes.
How, we're going to go back and forth through ages. It's going to be like a time zone type of thing. But how did you find the will to bounce back from that?
Good question. I said after it took a year. It took a whole year because I had to go to counseling, therapy, and to go over grief and all that. In due time afterwards, I my mother got me back to going back to school, and because I dropped out, I said whatever it is, I'm gonna just do what I have to do. And then she said no. She pulled me back out of it. So she said, "This is do it for your father." And then with that really got me back on track. So I went to school. I went to high school. I finalized it. Went to did my thing. I was going towards college at that time, and then it was just something that was like telling me, I don't know what it was, but something that told me go back to it. So eventually, I started back to writing poems and everything, and then eventually I was just like, I something told me just get back to that motion and the love of music. So I said, let me go back, and it was just the calling was there again, the love of it,
Yeah, because like I said, especially when you have that one person that pushed you to do that one love, of music. So, and him being there, I think made you more stronger. And then when he left, it's like, what am I doing? I was doing it for him, but now, So how did you find that? I know you said it was a calling, but how did you find that Nick to do it for yourself instead of doing it for someone like you were doing it for your dad?
Definitely. When I got eventually back to the grind and started doing showcases with mics and that, I saw the reaction of people's faces, and I saw the joy in their eyes, and I saw how, just me singing or whatever case I was doing on the stage, poetry, whatever, I saw that drive, and I saw in their eyes, and I saw that, wow, if that's something that now I could do for my father and for myself, and the love of music, then I'm going to continue on that passion and that drive. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. But growing up, did you have a lot of friends in school and stuff like that?
I always say I was always a homebody, so to me it's like it's weird me saying this now because I'm always out there and doing things in that sort. But the thing about me is that when I was in school, my dad was very overprotective, so I was mostly always home because the neighborhood wasn't that great as well. Right. So you live in the hood, you got to run home, go to school, same thing every other day. So it was like, look, I had a few friends, not too many, but I would call them my school friends. Pretty much, I would go to school.
Yeah, classmates.
Friends. Yeah, acquaintances, So
yeah, I had a lot of. They were like, "Yo, you got a lot of friends." I'm like, "Classmates?
Yeah,
I got those. I only got 5 friends."
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I try to drill that in my son's head too. They're not friends; they're classmates.
Exactly, separate. Yeah.
Right. Because that word "friend," then you're gonna try to do more.
Oh Lord.
And you're not supposed to, So.
Yeah.
But that's coming in. You're in 14th Street, so you had a lot more of the white people were around there. The Hispanics were down there. Yeah. Around the 80s, I think the blacks started moving up towards 59, 60s because that's when Harlem started developing.
Man. Yeah.
Harlem started developing. So you still have all that mixture. How did you bring up like being a Latina in a place where it was starting to be all whites?
It's funny you say that now. Looking back at it now, it was always like what I love about the East Side is very diverse.
Right.
And we're gonna have all types of people. We have Chinese, we have African American, we have Latinos like ourselves. Yep. We have anything you could think of is there. It's a melting pot. So now the demographics is
right. That's what I'm saying. It was changing towards the 90s, the 80s, and 90s.
Like now, living there again is changed a whole lot.
Right.
But now, back in the days when I was a kid, growing up seeing it, I kind of embrace the diversity because I use that now as myself as a person.
Good.
And also like with my my music, whatever case it be, I wanted to also resonate with everyone, not just one particular race.
Yeah, that's good, because I remember, when we used to go down there and hang out, like 42nd.
Oh, man.
Everything. We started noticing around the 90s. It was like, where is my people? Like, where are they going? Like, they
migrated somewhere else.
Yeah, they started moving up, like the Latinos from Manhattan started moving towards the Bronx, and then the blacks started moving towards 110th or 125th.
Exactly.
So it's, they all started moving on up, so it's a way, even when I was a kid, like diversity was a good thing, but then at the same time, you're like,
where's my people?
Yeah, like, what's going on? And now it's getting worse.
That's another story.
Yeah. But now, I say now it's not color that's being moved, it's money.
Yes.
So if you don't have that money, you got to move.
Exactly.
You got to move away.
Exactly.
So now it's instead of color, it's rich or poor.
It's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you're the only one that sings and everything in your family, or your family is like? To
my knowledge, man, I mean, anybody else in the family that I know of, they're not really like musically talented. Not to my understanding, even back then, and to now, not that I know of. No.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'm like, I guess I'm the rare one, kind of in a sense, yeah.
Well, or they have the talent, but they never
pursued it
or nothing like that, or they don't even realize they can sing. Because I met someone that sung, and we were like,
damn,
you can sing? They were like, oh.
You're like, we find out.
Yeah, so but the confidence, and that's what I want to talk about. Like, how did you find the confidence to sing in front of people? Like,
oh my God, that's a good question. Even going to junior high school 22 back in the days and doing choir work with the students at that time, and then working with Al Sharpton for a little bit. I guess you could say building the confidence took some time. Even I have to this day, I still get stage fright sometimes, but I learned how to control it now. And even when I first, no lie, my first solo ever appearance I did as a New Yorker, Poets Cafe, and I performed there, and I never forget, I did Summertime, the a cappella version of it, and I sang my heart out, and after I was done, it was so quiet, and when I opened my eyes, it was the loudest applause. I was like, oh my God, what happened? Like this, it was for me. So afterwards, it felt like a surreal moment, like this is something that it's embedded, it's something that was made for me to go through this journey, this process, and to show that people could overachieve. They could achieve their goals. They could achieve anything they want to do in life.
Wow. And we're gonna go a little bit towards your breakout. You're 18, 19 years old. Yeah. You're out in the world. Like what happened then? How did you like? Because I know what age did you leave out of your house, matter of fact?
Oh my God. I think, all right, this is a true story now. Okay, so when I was 18, my dad passed away and everything. Right. I did run away. I was still 18. I was legally, legal, as they say, adult. So, it was a lot going through at the time. I was my ex-boyfriend running around and just trying to, get my mind straight. So, technically it was 18, but then I came back. I was in my mom's life or house, time to time, going through different phases of my life. But eventually, officially, I left her house, I think, after 19 or so. Yeah.
Wow. So, what made you run away? Like, was you running away from the problems, or
I think it was
households? Like, what made you?
Well, the thing is, my mom was very overprotective, even till now. So she was like, certain time you got to be home. I'm like, trains, things happen, So, it was like the strictness and tough love, and I mean, I loved it, but it was also like when am I gonna get that compassion? Because tough love could do so much. So with that in mind, I just said, enough is enough, and I'm already an adult. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna find a way to do what I have to do, and I did. Yeah.
So how was it living like?
Oh my!
On the run,
it was kind of good. The cousin catching, No,
but how was it,
Yeah.
Because 18 years old, you're just trying to find yourself.
Yes.
Like, what is your goal in life, and you want to experiment.
Of course.
Leaving the house now, the shackles, in other words,
oh God,
were off.
Yeah.
How did that year approach you?
It was very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't all greatness of it, as they say. During that time, I was with my son's father years ago, and we would kind of live together, and that's when I went through the hardships of reality, setting and being an adult and paying bills and realizing, I went through a lot with him, and even to being years ago. I written in my book. It's called Trials and Tribulations.
Right.
And Biography of Vero G. You guys could check that on Amazon. And it tells the story of my life, after leaving my dad, when he passed away in my mother's house, and being in an abusive relationship with him, and being street, homeless. And going through so much, living in crackheads' floors, sleeping on the floor, seeing them doing crack right in front of me. It was just like so many things I endured. And even at a time when I became pregnant from him, it was worse because I had beatings and I was, it was just so much.
Now, how old were you when you first came out pregnant?
I was before the legal drinking age. I was 20. 20 or before 21. Yeah.
Okay. And that's when basically he became abusive.
He was, the signs were there, but it was slowly progressing towards the beatings. It was first the psychological, and then emotional.
Yeah, it always.
Yeah, definitely. They come with the mind games, the controlling, the possessiveness, the verbal. I was right after that. And then eventually, when I became pregnant, it was just like, it got worse.
Right.
And he would take anything out of me. And unfortunately, luckily my son was okay. I mean, we came on everything. But during those times, it was like, that's why I never wanted to get pregnant again, because I said I had the worst pregnancy ever. And, what's that, walking down the street and your feet are swollen. You're walking out trying to make some money and hustle, and people are like looking down on you, and you're like, they don't even know what you're going through every day just to make ends meet, or just to, sleep on the floor, and or be in the park bench sleeping just to make sure you get your rest. And, it's a lot.
And this is the guy when you ran away that you were with?
Later on, my son's father.
And then he became your father.
Yeah.
Now, did your family realize that you were because some of them don't realize that you're being abused, or, or did you tell them?
Oh, no, they do. They knew eventually. After I talked to my mom, me and her wasn't talking for a while. And then afterwards, me and her talked, and she was just like mad. Like, why would he do this to you? And then that's when I would go back to her house to stay there, to stay away from him. And, he was making threats to my mom, calling and every day. It was really bad, Charles. And I went through this with him for 5 years. Because I lived with him, but then it's just, after that, it was crazy.
Now, I ask many females, because I'm one of those types that try to understand the human behavior.
Yeah.
That was part of my job.
No, of course.
Being a criminal analyst, I had to know the behavior of people.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mindset like? What you just said 5 years. What made you want to stay there? Because I know one of them is he might change. I know that's one.
Yes, that's
but
definitely.
What is Veronica way of thinking? Why she stood there for 5 years?
I think it was a lot of factors. One, of course, we had a kid together, so I wanted my son to also live with his dad. That was another factor. Another thing is because of the psychological abuse I suffered so much with him. I felt like if he leaves me, I'll be abandoned, and I, it was a lot. It was a lot, and a lot of people told me, like, leave him, drop him, he's no good, and I'm like, I had markings on my arm, my legs, I had police reports, restraining. I had to get restraining order after all this happened because it was just too much. I couldn't take it no more. And so
now, that impacted your dreams of music again?
Yeah.
So you fell back down again?
No, actually.
Or you kept on going?
While this all was happening, Charles, I was still, believe it or not, which is weird, I maintained being a domestic violence survivor and going through all those ordeals and everything else. I was still actually now going back to school and, getting my associates and my bachelor's and everything. And then also being a full-time mom and also working. So I had to balance everything out. It was so much work. And I barely had time for myself. So eventually, he was still abusive. He was still beating on me, and I had to hide it. I had to, make everything. I was, indoors I was dealing with the stuff, but outdoors I had to make a mask. I had to show people I'm fine, everything's okay.
Right.
But eventually, it
wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, it's even people with depression, we always say we have a double mask.
That's
You're watching the man in the mirror, the happy, the smiles, but when you go home, it's
a whole different demeanor.
A whole different story.
Yeah.
I know you said it was hard to balance that factor out, and I'm glad you overcame that whole thing, because if not, you wouldn't be here right now, right?
Yeah.
So you over that part, but what made you just become Hercules and say enough is enough?
The last straw for me, I felt like, because my son was getting older, and then at the age of 2. Again, it's in the book. It's more graphic, but I'll explain more to the viewers and that. It was a late night. Luckily he was still like roommates. He would stay there time to time, whatever, and it was fine. And one day he came home late, drunk, and he took my phone without even asking me. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" So he walked out. So I thought it was fine. I left the door open. I shouldn't have done that. Within 5 to 10 minutes, he come back raging, comes storming in. I'm with my son in the same bed with me because he's watching TV. He was like 2 at that time. And I never forget, Charles, I was laying down watching TV. I had really long hair back then. And he came, I don't know, pulled my hair and started punching my head. And he was attacking my head to kill me. He was literally, that night, it was, he wanted me dead because he kept punching my head. And nowhere else, just my head. And my son was right in the bed with me. And he pulled me from the bed down to the floor, beating me up. And then I never forget what really saved me, because after all that happened, he left. He left with my phone and he left out the apartment.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just like crazy. And then what saved me, what really helped me, because I heard my son come, Mom, wake up. I was like another world, because when I got out of the whole situation, I was unconscious. When I finally woke up with blood, and I had my face swollen. You wouldn't recognize me.
Oh my God.
So I had to run. I never forget, it was raining that night. I ran with my son. I had to get the court to the stroller, get him, run downstairs. At that time, it was even fifth floor. No elevator. No elevator. All stairs. Run downstairs. Run to get paid phone, because he had my phone. I called mother. I told her what happened. She said, "Come right to the house," because we lived next door to each other at that time. So I ran over there. I went to bring my son. Everything. She saw me, and she was like, "Oh my God!" So that's when I decided that was enough, and I made the legal proceedings, to get a restraining order. And it worked for a while, and he kept his distance, and, I told him, leave me alone and that, and...
Yeah, restraining orders
a joke.
A joke.
Yeah.
A joke. And the reason why I say it's a joke, because by the time the police come, the person could do whatever they want to do.
Exactly.
And then they disappear, and now they got to do a search for them. So a lot of females think, because they have the restraining order, that they're safe. No, you always have to keep your mind open and your eyes looking everywhere. Some guys are crazy. I can tell you stories of when I was in criminal justice thing, where that's why I'm saying I'm glad you came out of it.
Thank you.
Some people don't, and it's terrible. I had nightmares for a long time.
So
seeing some of the stuff that I seen and the deaths that I seen because of my job. So, and majority of it was domestic violence. So it happens. But I'm glad you came out, and you're doing better and stuff like that. So we're gonna take another short break. We gotta recap ourselves. Relax, and when we come back, we're gonna find out. From becoming Hercules and escaping into your music. So this is Behind the Mic with Veronica Gonzalez, aka Vero G. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Will D.
I am Javier Luis.
I'm Alex Polanco.
I'm Apollonia Cruz.
And I'm Kelly Kapoor.
I am Shirley Phillips.
I am Emmanuel Anzule. Do you know 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence
during their lifetime?
And domestic violence and abuse can happen to anyone,
regardless of gender, race, or other factors.
2 out of 3 homicide cases are
females who were killed by a family member or intimate partner.
As domestic violence victims, they face high rates of depression,
sleep disturbances,
anxiety,
flashbacks, and other emotional distresses.
And without help, witnesses of domestic violence are more vulnerable to become abusers themselves,
thus continuing the cycle of violence in the next generation.
Hello, I'm Charles Aloma. Join the LDM network and Safe Horizon and take a step into changing these facts. So if you are or know someone that is being abused, please call the City Domestic Hotline at 1-800-621-4673. So that is 1-800-621-HOPE.
Speak up,
speak out,
and make a difference.
And just know that you don't have to deal with this alone. There is help. All right. Well, welcome back here to Behind the Mic, and I'm with Veronica Gonzalez, aka Vero G, and we had a good talk about your lives. It's we're still the trials and tribulations of life, setbacks and all. But with all setbacks, people will always find a way how to get up. What they say is not how you fall, it's how you get up.
Get right back up.
It can take a long time. You can come back down, come back up. But now you left that stage of your life to pursue, like you said, school, mother, and trying to have a music career as well. Who were because I'm assuming you probably couldn't do it by yourself. So who was the person behind you, like pushing or helping or anything like that?
I would say my mom was also a big enforcer in helping me, and in distance in some ways, because she had her own life and everything. But she would ton of time, just do this, do that. I'm like, okay, and I always say, God really pushed me, and I think my dad in heaven, I think he also, like you mentioned, I think he was always there, and I felt his presence every time. I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, I'm on track, and just keep doing that, and. Those pretty much those factors, and my son as well, motivating me to continue on my purpose in that.
Wow, yeah, having a kid there and seeing that, especially a male, seeing that he might have grown up and thinking that's okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. So coming out at 2 years old, which is probably. A good thing.
He's getting therapy. I mean, now after all these years, everything else. And,
right.
Yeah, but he, recently he actually just told me, this is quickly, but he mentioned that with his recent therapist, and he remembered that moment when that happened to me years ago, and I was like, you remember that? He was like, yes, and I was like, he was 2 years old, by the way. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's just that's why I was telling him just to talk to his therapist and get help. Because I want to know that not all men are like that, and I want him to. The things he saw me go through bad relationships, I want to know never ever hit a woman. That's that. Don't even try. Like I told him that don't.
We said before. I always used to. I'm a comedian, so I always make jokes, and I was like, I would never hit a woman, but I'll shake her. What are you doing? But nowadays it's like. We say a man should never hit a woman, but I'm also saying a woman should never try to hit a man as well.
Yes, both ways. Yeah.
Right, because sometimes it's just a reflection, the reaction. I mean, so like if you hit someone and they go boom, oh, you hit me? No, I'm defending myself.
Exactly.
So we always say just don't hit each other. Like, what's the purpose?
Exactly.
You get upset, you get angry, go out. Hit a wall or something. I don't know. Break your hands. I don't know.
Something of that nature.
Yeah. Run. We say exercise, like something where let it out. Go to a forest or where there's only trees and just
some animals there.
Something.
Start the animals.
Go to Central Park and just scream out loud.
Well, then the cops will come.
Well, they just think you're crazy. That's all. They were like, let him go. Let him go. He's just crazy.
He's just in New York,
Yeah. No, but they always say leave to regroup. Regroup yourself before. Even when you're speaking in anger, sometimes they say, shut up, leave, because you might say something you're gonna regret.
Yes.
So I always tell everybody, just leave. Even if you have to go to another room, be like, we're gonna take 5 minutes.
Let me just take my thoughts.
Yeah, just we'll figure this out and blah blah blah. Yeah. Because abuse is crazy. Like I said before, I've seen it, and I spoke to many females about it, and it's the stories they tell is like, and there are males, because I met some males that were in an abusive relationship, and people don't really believe it.
Yeah.
And for a male, I think it's a little bit harder because they're supposed to be a machismo guy.
Exactly.
So who do they tell that they're not machismo? No
say, hey, bro, I got attacked today, right?
Yeah, we're like, what? Yeah, my wife beat me up. Like, so.
I'm not laughing. I'm talking about
no. It sounds funny. That's why it's more harder for a male to say they being abused. Yeah. And then how many males will go to court and say, I want a PFA? Why? Because she's abusing me and hitting me. That's the face they give. It's gonna be. Yeah. Okay.
Because it's more of the women. Yeah, I understand, but it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does affect, but now. Because I know it probably affected you, took emotions out of you, your body trying to give out. Now you have to fight with your mind as well. how did you do that to continue with your music?
Later on, when I was in my college years and that, I was still doing like open mic showcases, whatever time I had to balance out, being a mother and running around and making sure, he was okay first, and then do what I had to do at nighttime and everything. Eventually, it was just something, I said the pain I used, the things I was going through, I said, let me use it first in my poetry, then I transitioned to songwriting. And that's when I said, yeah, this is something that's going to really stick. And that's when you were quick, now going a little bit further back, before that time. Right. My first song I ever written, it was at 15 years old, and it was called Teardrops, and that was a boy. Of course, breaking up with a boyfriend,
right?
I mean, a girlfriend, whatever, love stuff. We all go through that. So that's something I wrote about that years ago. And then when I went back to now being an adult and going through all these things I went through, I started writing more heartbreak songs, just going through things I went through, and things of that nature. And I felt like when I started looking at my songwriting process and the way I did it, when I went through, it was just a way of therapy, to kind of like see like, wow, this is cool, and I could like maybe save somebody or maybe help somebody going through what I went through and know that they're not alone. Yeah,
which is a good thing. A lot of people don't realize, like, sometimes you can do something to trigger your mindset. I drew, I draw a lot. I did poetries and stuff, and my brother, he draws. My other brother was doing DJs.
Man.
people did things, and you probably thought they loved it, but it's more of a therapy for them.
Yes.
And find your niche. Find that one thing that you can do that takes your way, your mindset away. Not drugs, not drinking, nothing like that. Do something positive where your mindset can be that woosah moment.
Exactly. That is true. Yeah.
So now you say you did your love songs and other thing. There was one song that you did was called Broken Dreams.
Yes, that was very
one of my favorite songs.
Thank you. I thought it was Emikama.
No. That's a new one that you just did. You just did that one.
That'll be throwback. Sorry.
Yeah. But your throwback ones were Broken Dreams.
Yes.
And that was about domestic violence and stuff.
Yes.
How did you do that music video? Did it take you back? Like, because, I seen that music video and I'm like, because I know you, and I'm like, wait a minute, she was a domestic violence survivor.
Yeah.
How did she do that video without the trauma of the, recap?
Actually, you're gonna hear first here. Nobody ever asked me that question. So, after we did the taping on the video and everything else, it did give me it didn't trigger. It gave me a moment, because I have PTSD. So it gave me a moment like, so what I had to do was, during that time I was going through other therapists and stuff like that. So I realized the breathing techniques. So after we left the taping and I went home and I was trained, I just, get my mind back to now, because if I let, that moment trigger back to what I went through in the past, it will eat me up alive. So it did kind of a little bit, but I just had to just stay focused on that.
Yeah, because I really, when I seen that video, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does she do it? Like, because that triggers a lot of emotions. And to do a music video, it's like, and you're doing a story especially, it's like a little mini movie.
Yeah.
So you have to get into character.
Yes.
So now you had to go to the young Vero G or the Veronica Gonzalez moment.
Yeah.
And you fought that, which is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
The video itself is awesome because it shows the dramatic side of someone. And and that person needs to figure out where they're gonna go, in life. So, those are little things I took from that video.
Thank you.
And I tell people, when I speak to them, I'm like, watch this video.
Thank you. Thank you for the views.
Well, yeah, because the video does describe, like an abusive, thing. We listen to it on the car because we have the video VidZone. We have VidZone, so we watch VidZone sometimes on our car when we're driving.
Okay.
So it's there,
That's cool.
And it impacts. And I'm never an abuser. My mom was never in an abusive relationship. So I didn't have that around me when I was young.
Yeah.
But the video makes you think like, okay, so this is how it is. So kudos to you for the video.
Thank you. Big shout out to Real Lyrics.
Real Lyrics is in that video as well. But when they approached you, or you approached someone else for that, who wrote it? Matter of fact.
My part of the song, all original, all me.
Right.
And then the other person, real lyrics, he did his part. And
Right.
The concept was more like exactly was on point on that, like just getting. It was more like the family dynamic too. Like the kids were in it, so
Right.
you know, seeing how the kids were affected by the mother and the father and the whole dynamic itself. And we wanted to be a little more of a bigger horizon of that. And when we did that, we didn't. Later on, we started seeing the impact of people contacting us saying, "Hey, man, thank you so much. It was great."
Right.
And you know, sometimes you never know who's watching. I always say that down the line, just keep putting work out there, content, because you never know whose life you're saving. You don't know whose life you're impacting. So, you know, that's why we did this. You know.
Was it like hard to decide to do it, or because I know when you write stuff in the paper, like I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I want to go back. You know. So.
No, I understand. In the beginning, it was like, you know, hesitant, but eventually when I spoke to real lyrics about it, and because I remember doing, we worked for a while, a couple of other songs as well. So I said, you know what, let's talk about this subject because it's very sensitive matter. So I said, let's do it, and I want to go all in on this. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for getting deep and saying, you know what, I got to put my feelings aside and send this message out. So again, incredible. Parts of it was hard to watch because you're like, oh my God, if he was real, I would punch him. Oh my, you know what I'm saying?
So I'm a sucker puncher.
Oh man, So, because I'm one of those types of guys that hate it.
Yeah.
Like if I see someone going and getting, I'm like running and doing something because I'm like, that could have been my sister, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. So I'm real, impact.
No,
and
I understand.
so I had that once in my family where my niece called me and said, "Oh, he pushed me." So all he had to do.
Oh man, you're running. I'm in there.
And they told him never call Charles and tell him that.
What?
And she made the mistake, and when I went down there, he had to leave.
Oh, but that's good because they're so not too.
Because it starts with
with the playing around, yeah.
But because I, saying that, I know there was probably people that was telling you, like you said, leave them, but
oh man,
you stood, and now. You probably lost a couple of friends because now, like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And now he was like, I don't want you talking to them no more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. The controlling possessive thing. Yeah. Right up. Yeah.
I seen it. That's what I'm saying. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
And that's why they say, let me say it in Spanish, no te mete en cosa de matrimonio, meaning don't get involved with married people's stuff because of that reason. You're going to lose that friendship. Yeah. And so it's hard for a person seeing inside, like, I want to help, but I can't, And so that's why I was telling people that abuse, don't think that no one wants to help you. It's that they like, if I do help you, and you stay with them, now we're going to be broken up as friends. It's going to
be interfering with it,
Right, because he doesn't want you to hang out with us because he knows you're going to try to take them away.
Yeah.
And save their life. So some of your friends were just trying to save your life, but
it's a lot. It's like a tug of war.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad you do your music and all that. So, and now you're going, you're doing your stuff, you're on the stage performing and things like that. I know we spoke and you said you were into another relationship where it went crazy wrong as well. But you're out of it again.
Yes.
So that's why I'm glad. I'm glad you're out of it. You learned your lesson. So, but we can always talk about it at another time.
That's another whole show.
Yeah, that's another show. We're talking about Veronica right now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so, but performing in the stages and all that, you grew up. Now, your family started coming back after a while. What helped you when your families came back? Because there's sometimes things help you, but then family come back and there's some things that will take it away. Like, what were both of the sides?
I guess, my mom was like more or less, I have a very small circle in my family. I don't really talk to a lot of like extended family. Other people I don't really talk to because they were never really there when I was a kid. So I was like, why give them my energy and my time? So I'm like,
positive.
Yeah, definitely. So, pretty much like with both questions, I guess you could say, like the people that inner people, like were in my family, my mom, my stepdad, my brothers at times, and I feel like when they were there at times to support when they could, come to the shows and that, and it was great because to see that, this person comes so far and they're still trying, to pursue their dreams and that, and it has its good sides and has its bad sides, because then they be like talking, they're on the phone with your girlfriend, and I'm like, listen, this is my dream, you're not gonna crush it.
I understand everyone that's doing something in their dreams always had that one person like, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, they want to like kind of like doubt you, like, no, I'm good.
Okay, it was good for a little bit, but are you gonna do something? Like.
Yes, I used to get that too.
Yeah. Believe me, you're gonna get all that.
Oh yeah.
I heard it all. And I'm like.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let them keep talking. You keep moving and do what you gotta do. Yeah.
If you would have been working regular, you would have probably got everything by now.
No, listen, I'm good.
Yeah. Many people that I talk to has the pretty much same thing. So pushing aside, because I know sometimes the words hurt, or sometimes you be like, yeah, right, but then you go home like, maybe, So when you had that moment of doubt, what made you say, you know what? Whoa, no. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I felt, this happened like in the beginning. My family were kind of like iffy, like you mentioned, and they were like kind of there but not there sometimes in that sense. And I felt but really, of course, we all go through self-doubts, and sometimes we like, are we on the right path? Are we, doing what we should be doing? Or should we get a 9 to 5 and pay bills and do like everybody else does, So,
right.
Yeah, so I felt like, going through, and I did have jobs during that time. I was working here and there to pay bills and everything, but it wasn't the love. The joy wasn't there, and music always somehow, which is weird. All the things I went through, Charles, through the domestic violence relationships, and through my personal situations, and music was always there. It never left me. So it was like something told me stick with it. And when I had the self-doubt moments and everything, one day I just saw my son, I think he was like 4 or 5 in the bed sleeping, and I looked at him and I was crying, and I was like, you know what? I want to do something good for myself and my son. If anything happens, down the line, I want to leave a legacy for him, a legacy for me. So later on, he could say, at least my mom tried to do something in life. Right. And he could maybe carry that on. I mean, I don't know, but something that he could be proud of. Because you could regular job, 9 to 5, that's great. And they could fire you in a minute, and then you have to go and look for another job. So that's how it is. So me, I felt like there was something I had to do for myself more than anything, and also for him. And down the line for maybe other people who could maybe look up to me, or maybe just say, hey, if she did it, she went through so many things in her life, then you know what, I could try too.
Wow, yeah. It's like, honestly, the best thing that someone can do is always leave a legacy on. Some people got bad legacies, but it's a legacy of its own, So at least it's a legacy.
Yeah, it's something, right? Remember.
Right, but you want that good legacy, as you spoke about. Seeing your son, wow, you went through homeless, being back and forth, arguments and all this stuff. It's like, just to see you sitting here is like, wow, it's a dramatic changeover,
Yeah, definitely.
So just try not to fall down, in that sense of the matter. Now you have your son here. He's getting older and stuff like that. Are there traits in your son that you'd be like, wow, that's pretty much what I did, or what I'm going through? And is when you do see that, how does it make Veronica Gonzalez form into that Vero G, moments?
That's a good one. Nobody asks these questions, What's going on, everybody? Come on up.
Hey.
No, you're good. I would say when he was like elementary school, graduating towards junior high school, I saw him. I didn't tell him to do anything. He did on his own. The love, the passion for the arts, and meaning like into acting and stuff like that. So I was like, wow. So I got into after school. They had programs for that at that time. Some programs they had, I got him involved in that and everything else. And I don't know if he's interested now, but back then he was little. He was really into that, and I never forced it. I said, you do what you want. I'll support you 100%.
Right.
And just to see, like, there were times where he would come once in a while to the studio, record, he'll be there. I did try to get him involved into like other things I would do. And I was I'm overprotective with him.
Right.
Because I've been overprotective, and then also he's my only child. There's a lot of craziness in this industry. We both know, we've seen it. And that's why every time, the little times that he was with me, I always make sure he was next to me. So
okay.
yeah, so I always make sure like he'll be there, see what I'm doing, and to see the process, with shows or anything. And then the shows I would do more outdoor events because the kids are friendly and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna do it in a bar. Hey, come at the end of the night, just hang or drink. No, I can't do that. No, but
True.
Yeah, so I would try to get him involved what I was doing and at the time and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's one of those awesome things that you can see and do, especially with with a child.
Yeah.
So because the child is gonna follow your footsteps.
Yes.
So I would say like a man, your child cannot be a man if he doesn't see a man.
Ooh.
So
That's deep.
I always tell, and the same thing with a daughter.
Yeah.
She'll never be a woman if she cannot see a woman.
Ooh.
So, and I always tell people that, I was like, just think about those words and you'll understand what I mean. Meaning, if you're doing something, your son or your daughter's looking at you like, I'm going to do that.
Exactly.
So, that's why I said that I like, you're doing it, you're doing yourself. So, but now, we're running a little bit out of time. So
Okay.
we want to fast forward it.
Oh, wait, not to know.
Fast forward it. And now,
Yeah.
you became, Vero G.
Yes.
And then from singer, doing artists to talk show hosts to magazine producers
Yes.
to a biggest dream of an award winner,
Oh.
where a lot of artists, indies artists,
Yes.
never really get to touch that.
Yes.
And you became an award winner and 3-time nominee as well. Because there are certain parts of your life that says, I'm making it. And I'm assuming this was one of the parts of your life that said it. What were other parts in your life that said, yeah, I'm making it, I'm doing this?
Before we get into that real quickly, I would just say thank you again, just for always believing, supporting my dream and the music and always just being there behind the scenes pushing. So I appreciate you guys.
No problem.
Thank you.
Like I said, when we see someone and we like them, we'll push and we're like, hey, do this, come here. Hey, we have an event for you. Come over here and perform for people so they can see who you are.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the whole purpose of this new show as well, Behind the Mic, to show people your goals on how you got here. It's just not you woke up and said, you know what, I'm gonna sing.
I wish it was that simple, right?
Yeah, right.
No,
but what was other moments in your life that you said, oh wow?
It was a few. I actually, after I got the award, which I was I'm honored. I just got an award this year for CETA Awards for the 5th annual one, and it was for the song "Let Him Heal You," and it was something that I felt like that was God's mission, because I wrote that song quickly a year ago for the new album Here I Am, which is out now.
Right.
Digital platforms. Cheap plug. All right. Cheap plug. Okay. So I did that song, and I just pushed it out to other places to see what's gonna happen from it. And then when I put it out to these people, and they were like, wow, the song, it resonates. It's about God. And mind you, I never written a song about that before, about faith and about Christianity. So it was the first time, like when I did this a year ago, and I said, this is something, and I'd written this song going through the COVID situation. So I said, I want people, they're going through their situations and whatever case may be, to know that God is still always there by their side. So I said, this is the perfect song to do it. And I did it. I put it out there. I just got an award this year for them. I just got new Gospel Artist of the Year. Gospel Hollowback Excellence Awards this year in Connecticut. So, I'm just pushing. These are milestones that I never thought I would never see, Charles. And, it's just amazing to see that the hardships I went through in life, it didn't stop me. It motivated me to push. And I said, everybody in this world have a dream. Go out there. Take a risk. At least later on in life you can say, hey, I tried. If I didn't try, then you feel the regrets later on. And to see these beautiful accolades, and then to I give back to the community, I do it every year to give back to the kids, and to see their faces and they're happy, they lit up, and I'm like, this is all God. He's using me as a vessel to give and help, and to help these artists and help everyone out there just to get their voice to be heard. This is what I do. This is from also a legacy from my dad that he left behind for me when I was a little girl, seeing him giving candy to the kids or money, and I saw that. So I said that was something that I wanted to remember him from that line and say, I'm going to continue on from that legacy.
Yeah, and I'm glad we were part of your first award.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, and now it's like coming down with all these.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand. Like when you get your first award, it opens up doors because now people are like, wait a minute, this girl's an award winner. Let me bring her. You know.
Yeah.
So it happens, and we're glad that we were part of that as well. So you know. Again, I ran out of time, but I want to thank you for letting us into your life, you know, and knowing these things that are going on, keeping strong, keep the abilities of your singing,
thank
you. Writing about your life. I think it's been working, so maybe
thank you. I'm trying. I'm still trying.
Continue doing it, you know, because song is about life. So if you can do get it out of you and into that paper,
definitely.
And then put some music in it.
You just hook it up, man. Put some everything in the little magic,
Yes. So, but but real quick too, because I think we got about 2-3 minutes. But real quick, when you do music like that, I was like, you have a lot of confidence to wear whatever you want to wear, And who's that? Big girl, Lizzo.
Yeah.
She does things like that. So I know some people probably were like, "What are you doing, girl? What are you doing?" How react to those people? How do you react to those people, real quick?
I am gonna be. I wish I could curse. I can't. But anyway, I'm gonna keep it 100 clean. Okay. To those people that hate, those people want to always downsize big girls like me, you know what? Thank you, because you motivated me to keep on doing what I'm doing,
Right.
And it's unfortunate, we living in a world now that people still want to fat shame people, and not see people who what their talent are or what they could bring to the table and all that. So I mean, to my message to them is that thank you for your negative comments, thank you for the positive comments or whatever you want to call it, because either way, I'm still gonna put great content out there. I'm still gonna be who I am. I can't be, out there trying to be like everybody trying to be a size 0 if I'm not even happy inside. If I'm a big girl and if I want to lose a little weight, hey, that's on me. But if not, I'm gonna be me, and if they accept me who I am, then I appreciate it.
Again, thank you, and hopefully you're gonna win some more awards.
I'm praying. I'm gonna leave it to God's hands.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna leave you with Veronica Gonzalez. Knowing her, check her out. Vero G is her artist name.
Yes.
And you can check her out. Even videos online such as Broken Dreams and her award-winning song, La Cama.
Mi Cama, oh my God. Woo! It's hot in here.
Yes.
When I tell you about washing these goddamn dishes, washing this damn kitchen, girl. Sick of this shit.
Broken dreams can never be fixed. She walking down the street with a broken heart. Broken dreams can never be fixed.